to our Saturday morning Take Action Challenge, day number 6. And I'm excited to be here. And I want to know, I really, really, really want to know who was here yesterday to listen to Jeff Walker. Who was here yesterday to listen to Jeff Walker? I'm just going to like open up my chat a little bit here. Me, I was, okay. How was the homework? How was the homework? Was it hard? Was it like, how did you do on that? Amazing, inspired. So I don't think I have it. We didn't throw it out, did we? Did we throw out my sheets from last night? No, I wrote all that down. Shoot. Okay, well, don't stress about it now. So they threw my notes out, you guys. The notes I took with you. Okay, so I was going to show you. Always ask me. Because those are the notes that I wanted. So now I'm going to go re-listen to that again. So if they're not thrown out, I'd like to get them. Okay, so don't you love how we can just be so darn transparent in this training? I just love it. Kind of my style. It's just how it rolls. I'd like you to see how I operate behind closed doors and not just be like, hi, how are you? Okay, so I took a bunch of notes when Jeff was talking. I know the launch series really well. I thought it was brilliant when he was talking about the seed launch and how to actually launch a product before you, like how to actually launch a product before you actually create it. And I thought all of that was brilliant. And it leads really nicely into what I want to talk about today, which is taking the empathy model and how I go about creating products and services that sell out. But he actually did it pretty miraculously when he taught this yesterday. So if you weren't on the challenge yesterday, I highly recommend that you go watch day 5 and just study it. I recommend that you watch day 4 and get a vision for running some paid traffic at some point and what you need to look for on your opt-in and your registrations and your thank you pages. This stuff is wisdom. It's all wisdom. Like I just had another friend call me up a couple minutes ago and say, hey, my Facebook ads have been shut down and my account just stopped and we have an event in 2 weeks. And I'm like, this is a wisdom moment, right? This is a wisdom moment. I'm like, listen, like as you're walking through the breakdown, you're going to gain a ton of wisdom that's going to help you lead the conversation of growing your company. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So a lot of times, I mean, we obviously help a lot of entrepreneurs get cash rich. And when they get cash rich, what often happens is they now defer their leadership to somebody else because it's like kind of like, it's like hiring me and saying, Shanda, do it for me. And it doesn't really work like that because, you know, Kat and Darlene and Brad and William, I mean, you're all so unique in your personality that my formula, you have to join the formula. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like, it's like if I give you a script about how to do a sales conversation. So I give you a script about how to do a sales conversation. We have lots of them. They're really good. They really work. But the thing is even when we teach a salesperson, if they don't bring their personality to the script, it feels very robotic. It's missing connection. And so you are the connection. You are the bridge to all this coming together. So I want to do a reset right now. And the reset that I want to do is we're on day 5 of the revenue challenge. It's okay if you haven't watched every day, but I would go back and listen. I mean, you guys go in the chats, comment sections, and just share. Has this been real training? Right? Have you gotten real training that you could monetize? Have you? Yes, 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 yes. Right? 100%. Okay, so now the leadership part that's important for you guys to grab a hold of is to look at what stuff do you want to re-listen to? Where's your notebook? And then you got to put an action plan off the back end of it. You got to put an action plan. So you could take Jeff Walker's training, and if you already have an email list, well then shoot, you can just go right now. You could take what he taught last night or yesterday in the morning, and you could apply that right away, without a doubt, and make money right away. This is why we teach email lists like crazy, because social media, I can't guarantee you're going to see my stuff. I have a post right now of a video on my Instagram as we're recording this right now. And it has 19 comments on it. And I think 5 are from me. Okay. And so it's true. It's true. And I have 104,000 people I have 104,000 people, 2,600 posts, and 104,000 people on my Instagram. Okay, so I have another post that, you know, here's one of my last events, my last zone events, right? You guys who jumped into the offer we gave this week, like we would be learning that in a room like that with thousands and thousands of people. There's Barry. Thousands and thousands of people, right? And so this has 115 comments. On the bottom, you can't really see, but it says 115 comments. Well, that's a real problem. If I'm trying to fill a retreat, fill a course, fill a program, sell an information product, sell a t-shirt that I create, that's a real problem, my friends. Okay. And it's the same people over and over and over again that are commenting. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm spending $7,000 a month on getting my engagement up. I'm giving you real numbers. Okay. So this is the backstory that nobody's talking about, right? This is the backstory that nobody's talking about. Or when people say like, I've sold, $200 million on Instagram. It's like, yeah, with like a ridiculous lot of money on ad spend or influencer marketing, or whatever that looks like. And influencer marketing means that when you pay people like me, my account's not open for that, but there's a bunch of people that you could pay and they'll post their stuff on their page and they have highly engaged pages. And it's like $7, $10, $15, $20, $80,000 to do this. Okay, like these are real numbers. Okay, it's not odd to be paying $7,000 to $15,000 a month for influencer marketing. So again, these are not things. Just so you know, I went to my greatest friends in the industry that teach social media marketing. I was like, "How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this?" And nobody told me about influencer marketing. I fell upon it when I met a filmmaker who was doing the really cool videos that you're seeing on a lot of different people's platforms. And those are the reason why they have massive views is because they're being distributed, right? They're being distributed and their accounts start to grow like that, but they have to keep paying for it. So these are just important details. And I'm really, really committed to giving you the real details. Okay. So can you make money on Instagram? Yes, you can. And you need to know like the different aspects of what most people are doing. Not all, but most people are doing to be able to grow these accounts. Okay. Yes. Are we clear? Are we happy that we're getting some real information here? So you can actually make some real decisions about where you put your time, your valuable time, where you put it. And this is why I'm so crazy about building email lists. Build the email list. And then what Jeff Walker taught you yesterday, right? What Jeff taught you, you could do the seed launch. You could literally do the seed launch in 2 seconds, couldn't you? Absolutely. You could do that with your iPhone and cut those videos that he spoke into yesterday. I mean, that's something he teaches his clients how to do that are creating those massive paydays, right? You could take what Barry's whole workshop is around list to launch, right? So you could take what Barry teaches you, how to monetize events, and you could drive the list to it. And do you think that you would be more successful if you had that? Yes or no? Go in the chat. Yes or no? Thank you, babe. Yes or no? Yes. Okay, so do you think, I want to be really clear, do you think that I want to teach you list building for the rest of my life? I'm teaching for 10 years. Yes or no? No. People are awake this morning. No. Do you know what I want to teach you? I want to teach you a lot of other things. Like I would love to teach you some really cool funnels. I would love to teach you sales, which I am going to teach you with my husband. Come say hi real quick. Come say hi real quick. He just did a
Iron Man.
He just did an Iron Man.
Just kidding. Hi. Hi, everybody.
So he's going to teach with me on Monday, which is going to be great. So
Can't wait. See you then.
Yay. So I'm going to teach you those things, but I would honestly rather teach you leadership and enrollment all day long, because I feel like if you had leadership and enrollment, you could really crush it. But if you don't have this list, who the heck are you going to enroll?
Who are you going to crush it with?
Who are you going to crush it with, right? Who are you going to enroll? And this is why I'm not against podcasts. I'm not against like social media channels and growing them. I'm not against any of that. I'm actually super pro to all of that, but not before we have a nice big one of these. Because if you put it in the right order, you will not only bootstrap your way to financial freedom, but you will actually reach it. And that's what I'm interested in you doing. If you guys got your videos off, I'd ask you, Brad, William, you guys, if you can put your videos on. It really is nice to look at faces versus just your names. Okay, so here's what I want to go over today. I want to go over how to create a product or service and how I do it. And I hope that it's super valuable for you. And I hope I'm going to see if I can open up for some questions as well. But is anybody in a situation where you did not see the training on my empathy model? I think it was day 2. Yes or no, empathy model, yes or no? Okay, so a lot of you guys saw it, and there is a good percentage that didn't. It was day 2. So I'm going to run through it really quick, you guys. I think you guys could all value from it, right? I'm going to run through it really quickly, but I'm going to roll it right into creating a product, okay? So the thing is that when any trainer is training you on how to like fit into a formula that's going to create success for you, the way you think, hopefully you can hear this, the way you think is moving into the formula you're being taught. And so the way you think, whether you get confused when you learn something new, who are my people who get confused? Go in the chat and say like C, put C if you get confused, right? Okay, so it's good to know that about yourself, right? So if you get confused when you learn something new, it's good to know that about yourself, because that will slow down your ability to assimilate it. Okay, like it'll slow it down. So whether you get confused or whether you take action really quickly, who are my people who take action really quickly? Put me. Who are my people who take action really quickly? Put me. Okay, so you're the people that you drive people nuts because you're so quick out of the gate. And if you can keep that momentum up, you can finish strong, right? But now, who are my people who get distracted when they start to feel defeated, right? Put a D. If you get distracted when you start to, so these are all leadership things I'm talking about, right? Like, so people think it's just them. It's not, it's actually trauma. It's not, you didn't come out of the womb and go, I'm confused when somebody teaches me something new. Oh my gosh, when I feel defeated, I start to get distracted, or this didn't happen, right? This did not happen. This is all trauma that has us develop our personality traits. Like analyzers, you had to get more information to be able to be safe, whatever safety looked like, right? So controllers, like seriously, like when I look at controllers, there was some unsafe environments. Or there were some really strong people in your space that you literally had to manipulate your way around it. Okay, so there's when you look at these things, it's fascinating because we think that this is just how we are. No, we can build ourselves. That's why I'm always pushing leadership. We can build ourselves. So the empathy model is my way of showing you, like, you could actually just follow my thought process. Like we're doing playbooks inside of our company right now so that everybody can think the same way. That's a process. Right? So then it doesn't matter what your trauma is, you can actually just follow the process. Is this kind of cool? It's kind of cool because making money is a process as well. And so it's pretty simple. And when you get it, when it drops in, you'll be like, oh, now I understand why people with great trauma and people with no trauma can make a lot of money. Right? It's what you do with that. Your happiness is going to be contingent upon your leadership. There's no way of hacking that. Nobody's been able to figure out how to hack happiness. That's going to come down to your leadership 100% of the time. Okay. So you won't create more time for yourself when you have more money. You'll just fill up the time if you're already busy now, because that's an intimacy fear. I'm dropping a lot of bombs here. Hopefully you're picking them up. Okay. So here's what the empathy model looks like. So this is, now keep this clear. This is my thought process. It's a process in how I create every product program, how I create an offer, how I make a decision on like creating a revenue challenge, right? How I make a decision on creating a challenge, how I make a decision on creating a retreat, how I make a decision on what I'm going to teach at the zone event, how I make a decision. This is my process. So whatever you want to put on the end of it, right? Whatever success you want to put on the end of it, this is the process. And if you follow this, if you literally draw this on a piece of paper and you like pin it up on your wall and you're like, I am not going to create a thing unless I use this framework, then I'm telling you, whoever you study with, you will be greatly, so much more greatly, that's not the right words. You will have a higher success rate if you think like this. And the reason why I know this is because empathy wins. Empathy wins. So this is the problem. This is the thing that when you look at your customer, client, husband, wife, friend, let's put it into some of those communications because it might be easier for you to grasp it. Because some of you guys who maybe don't have a business yet, you might get stuck here because confused is a thing. So notice the process I'm doing. I'm reducing stress and I'm putting it into a context that you can just understand. And once you get it, you can do this with everything. Okay. So take a problem. And I'm going to talk in business and then I'll talk in relationship too. So that wherever they're at, we can meet you where you're at. If you are married or you're in a relationship or you have somebody that is struggling in your life and they've got a problem and you can see their problem. Okay. That's what I want you to grab onto. If you want to put this into a business application, which is obviously what we're talking about in the revenue challenge, then you could literally say, what does my customer or my client, like, what is their big problem? And the problem that you see, not the problem they say they have, like they are saying they have it, but it's the problem that every time they say it, it's the real problem you see. Do you understand what I'm saying? So like my clients might say, oh, I have a lead problem. I have a lead problem. I have a lead problem. Right? Like I don't have enough people to talk to. How many people have a lead generation problem? Like if you can't talk to 20 people in a day, you have a lead generation problem. Okay. You have a lead generation problem. Okay. So how many people are like, I have a lead generation problem? Go in the chat. Yes. Just say yes. Okay. So it's important because if you all said no, then I wouldn't use that example. I'm always empathetic to what's going on the other side of the camera, the screen, the event that I'm leading. I can switch audiences. I'm always doing these micro surveys. So you should write that down. These micro surveys are important. Don't think you have to know it all. You absolutely do not. In fact, that is a recipe for disaster. Okay? So there's the problem that you see. So when I hear you say that you have a lead problem, I believe you that you have a lead problem. But when I look at it and I go, okay, when I go to solve that lead problem for you, I start to see, well, the problem is people, so here, see how it went back to the problem? Do you see what just came out of my mouth? Like, did you guys see that? I want you to listen to your language because you got to get to the real problem because that's the one you're going to sell. Because isn't it, I mean, how many business coaches are selling lead generation? A lot, right? How many people are selling how to create a fulfillment product digitally online? A lot. How many people are selling, how to get better at your sales, like Grant Cardone or Dan Lok? A lot, right? A lot. So there's so many people to pick from, but it's how they position on whether or not you make a decision to work with them or people make a decision to work with you. And that's the process of empathy. What you see naturally, it's time for you to trust yourself. It's time for you to trust yourself. And it's also time for you to have massive courage. Tony Robbins talks about massive action. You have massive courage. Because the truth is that I believe that you guys actually see what the real problem is with people, and that you'd be willing to talk about it with someone that you felt safe with. But the courage to go out there and talk about it online or in a public place, a public venue, is really scary because you're still worried about what you look like, right? Or you're still worried about being judged, or you're still worried about being wrong, or you're still worried about not being strong enough, or you're still, am I making some sense here? This is why every time I look at someone, that's a leadership problem. Can you guys see it? So this is why it does, and I'm going to teach you about through lines, and my through line gets really, it's almost like I need to just surrender and go so big on leadership. I'm probably coaching myself right now, because every time I see audiences of entrepreneurs, I'm like, gosh, we're unique because we teach business and leadership. And I don't know any other companies that do that. So now, do you see how now that starts to create a unique proposition in the market? Now, I still don't position it that way, and we're in the process of a big rebrand. And so even training you, and this is what I say to my clients all the time, the more you give, the more you'll actually see your revenue. And so even like when I'm giving with you right now, I'm having my own breakthrough going, really, I love you enough to teach you this. And as I'm teaching you it, I'm having my own breakthroughs. Do you see what I'm saying? This is why you got to talk it out. You really got to talk it out. So, but I'm going to keep it simple. So we go, the problem that I see in the market is every time I go speak at an event, entrepreneurs never have an email list. They just don't. And because they're not decoding, their ears are not listening for the people who are teaching business. A lot of times you're not picking up when they're teaching, they're using the word list. It just kind of drops in there. So you build a list, or so that they register and go on your list, or just go out to your list. You're not decoding it. In my experience, you must not be, because either that or everybody's highly distracted and chasing the wrong rainbow. Because if you listen, you're going to hear that the top, anybody at top business digitally, I'm just going to talk a digital company, they are always referring back to their list. And so if you don't have one, and that's a common denominator, then that's a big problem. So I said, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to really take a stand, not for my ego, which I've really had to work on, because I would like to teach much more sexier things. Do you know what I'm saying? We're an 8-figure company. We're just getting started. I feel like I have so much more to give. Who else feels this way about your industry? My weight loss people always feel like this. I have so much more to give than weight loss, right? I hear this in weight loss all the time. So I feel the same way, but I don't entertain those thoughts, because it's not about me and what I have to give. It's actually about you. And the problem I keep seeing is the reason why you're not the next success story is you don't have a list. So you go work with all these amazing people, and they have a small little segment about list building, or they don't have a segment at all. And it's not emphasized enough as a priority step in the process of becoming wealthy. And it's truthfully not their responsibility, because when they're in their empathy model, they're not paying attention to that, right? Joan, Kathy, Lisa, you guys, you all see what you see. And this is what's so beautiful about life, and so much how it's powerful to even refer people in your own industry, like me to other business coaches and them to me. Those are your best joint venture partnerships, because it's serving the same tribe, right? And you're seeing different parts of the empathy model. They just don't call it the empathy model. Get what I'm saying? So the problem I see is that people they're not realizing, right? They're not realizing that their email list, the lack of email list, is crushing the time in their life. They are losing time, valuable time in their life, because they don't have it. They're losing it. And I see it all the time. This is how I started teaching list building. So the solution is build an email list, right? So I'm like, they need to build an email list. However, putting a free gift on your website when there's no traffic going to your website and you're not doing a bunch of SEO marketing, or you're blogging and hoping people come, or you're posting on social media and you've got 2,000 people on your social media or less, well, that's not going to build that fast enough. So I teach people how to actually do an interview model so that they build it really quick. But I'm not on the offer yet. See, I just jumped to the offer. I'm not on the offer yet. I'm still really in the, before, I know my offer, so that's why my brain went there. But really, I'm on the conversation of, okay, the way they got to solve is they got to get an email list. They can't be focused on social media. And I have quite a rant here. This is a rant. I have quite a rant here. And the rant doesn't necessarily need to look like anger, although it can. It could really piss you off. It could also look like it's just so common sense to you. Like it's so common sense, but you've got energy behind it. Like if you had 30 people standing in front of you, that's your ideal customer or client, and they keep coming to you with the same, and you see the same problem, and you just keep telling them to go do this, and they don't. By the time you get to the 30th person, do you think you'd be a little irritated? Like, just go build a freaking email list. I don't care if you want to or you don't want to. I don't care. Just build one. Like, it just kind of starts to, and if I put it into relationship stuff, think about a sister, a good friend, a husband, a wife, somebody that keeps coming to you with the same problem, or they're complaining about it, and you clearly see the solution. And you're and you've said it a million times. Well, eventually you're like, would you effing just go do this? You're ready to pull your hair out, right? That means that you're on it, because now you have absolute courage. You have tons of confidence, right? Your confidence, you've hacked the leadership mode at that point. Nobody can tell you that it's not going to work. You're just so clear. You know what I mean? Now, clarity, and that type of clarity, and everybody has it in some area, multiple areas, truly. We could all have multiple businesses, but we want one flagship product to go make millions, right? And so when you get that, you kind of hack the leadership model at that point, and you have authority. Do you see what I'm saying? You now have authority, because when you say it with authority. When you say it with authority, that's when you can ask yourself, well, what can I do about it? Right? So let me take it into a relationship format. If I'm with a friend and they keep coming to me with the same problem, I'm 43 years old and I still haven't met the husband of my life, hire a freaking dating coach. Just hire a dating coach. That's your solution. Obviously there's something going on. There's impossible that this whole world does not have at least 5 men that could be your husband. Truly, if you really, really, I believe this with my 43-year-old girlfriends that have been it's been a priority to find their husband for 15 freaking years and have babies. And now they're 43 and they're really, really running to the edge of being able to have a baby. You get what I'm saying? And so I'm sitting there going, just hire a relationship coach. Stop being so freaking righteous about the fact that there's no men on this planet for you. There's obviously something going on with the way you operate with men. Get it cleaned up. Be responsible. That's irritating to me. See how I've got energy around it? So now I'm not going to teach them relationship coaching, obviously, but this is how the world of giving really works. I could say, I'll find my offer might not be to buy my program. My offer could be, I can introduce you to 3 relationship coaches that rock. I can loan you the money. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, of course, in my business, this ends up in my List Power program or my PACE program or my leadership program. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Yes? Yes? We got this? Okay. Now, how do I take that into an offer? Well, now this is where you need to take a look at this. Now I say, what is the big promise? And this is my leadership again. What's the big promise that like if I'm going to contribute to solving a part of this problem, what is the destination? What's the part I'm going to solve? You know what I'm saying? What's the part I'm going to solve? And this is where when you see influencers online or you see entrepreneurs or just anybody in any industry, right? They've taken a stand. And the stand has a promise behind it. What is that big promise? And that big promise could be overall arching for your company. It could be, that's when you get into branding. But like I honestly, I was already doing $3 million a year before I ever branded. Okay, so I know a lot of people think they should brand early. Branding is an amazing thing for like bumping you, but like I would personally, again, my process, I would make money before I would ever brand. Personally, I'm not saying that's the right way to do it, but that's the way that I'm not going to go drop $30,000, $40,000 on a brand when I got no leads and I don't know what I'm selling. So again, the process of thinking, the process of leadership, the process of success, it all leaves clues. And you've got to get really good at decoding how somebody empathetically looks at something. It's what it like. I now hire coaches to look at like, what are they seeing? I'm trying to look through their eyes because I want to see what is the perspective that they're seeing. Because if I can hook into the next generation of leadership and the next level of leadership, which is why I push it so much, right? Then what I'm doing is I'm actually seeing their empathy. And when I see that, I now tap into their process. And no different than growing a company, even at my size and much, much bigger than mine. The reason why you can go into McDonald's and get the same hamburger anywhere in the world is because they have a process. I have a process for making money. That's why you're here. That's what we're talking about. So when I launch a product or a program, I don't start with, a lot of people start here. Well, what do I want to help people do? Well, that's all about you. And so now you got to go find you out in the world to buy it. And that is hard. Have you found many of yous? Cheryl, Elizabeth, have you guys found many people exactly like you? Right? No, it's not easy. I might have like one or two people in my life that are exactly like me. Like meaning that really think like me. I have one person in my company that really thinks exactly like me. You know what I mean? Or I think like her, and so how do you get it all on the same page? Well, you got to get people all on the same page to take your offer. Is anybody having an aha moment here? Because it has you approach business so much different when you approach it like this. Because and I love, you guys know I'm big on spirituality, but I'm going to tell you, my beautiful spiritual people, my new age spiritual people, we have been spinning for a long time, right? Because we're being taught in this secular motion. This is why I'm in scripture now. Scripture gives a full blueprint about how to do this, a full blueprint. Okay. And so when you look at this, if you approach it, you don't want to start with what am I trying to help people do? You want to start with what's the problem you see that's unique to you. This is why selling somebody else's product, or when you learn something from somebody and you repackage it and sell it, you're screwing yourself because all you're doing is borrowing their eyesight. You see something very particular. If you'd be willing to be honest about it or think about it a little bit more or notice your emotions around things, right? Because we buy off emotions. Well, you sell off emotions. You sell off of them. They buy, you sell. The emotions connect. We have a game plan. Okay, so what you authentically see and what you think is a no-brainer for a solution, this is where a lot of people undervalue because somewhere along the line, somebody told you that your ideas weren't good or you weren't smart, right? And so what happens is we undervalue the things we're naturally talented at and come easy to us. But my friends, that's the thing that you get paid for. That's the thing you get paid for. The thing that actually does come pretty easy to you is the thing you get paid for. Now, will you keep sharpening this and refining it through studying? Yes. I've refined my ability to grow businesses through studying. I study at least 15 to 20 minutes every single day. Okay. And so that adds up over the course of the year. I used to think studying had to be like school and I had to like study for 4 hours a day. It's like, no, like 15 minutes a day, you're good to go. You're good to go. It'll compound over the year and you'll actually be able to implement. Again, pay attention to the process. I'm even empathetic with the way that I approach things with myself because otherwise I won't create a new habit around it. Got it? So now I make my offer. I come to my offer. I say, well, before I can actually create an offer, based on this, what can I solve here? What's my contribution? Well, for me, my big contribution is the problem I see is the leads and obviously leadership. Solution is build an email list versus focusing on podcasting, social media, or any of that first. I want you to get there. I just want you to hire I want you to have enough cash to hire somebody on your team to do your posting for you and to, do that type of stuff so you can stay in your zone of genius versus trying to learn every single platform. Unless you want to be an agency, then that's a different game, right? So I want you to spend time with your friends and family. I take off 5.5 months a year because I prioritize right. And that again comes down to the process of thinking. So now here, what can you solve? That becomes your offer. So before you can build out your offer, you have to say, well, what is my big promise to this? So my big promise is that I will show you as an entrepreneur. My first big promise was I will show you as an entrepreneur how to build an email list and how to sell to it, right? Which also includes a product. And I've built that out over the last 10 years. I've added things to it. Like now I know, I don't know if you guys know this, but one-on-one coaching is not as effective as pod coaching. Pod coaching is when you coach with like 4 or 5 people and one coach. And the reason why is because if you get stuck, you get in your own way, which I'm sure if you were honest, we've been there, right? Well, when you get in your own way, think about how long it takes you to get out of that. And so with a one-on-one coach, it's like the coach has to be so good. And even if they're so good, it's very, very hard to pull one person out of a rut. Very, very hard. They have to be willing to release, right? But in a small pod, we've tested this. You rise to the top much quicker because it's very rare that you have all 5 people in a pod in a rut. So we got away. We tested that in leadership and we saw the results, and then we applied it to our business and we had massive results. And the coaches were like, wow, people are popping so much quicker. We're like, boom, that's it. So like that's through testing. So that's through refining my offer to keep getting better. And this is where the reason why I say a flagship product or program or service is really important, because I'm 10 years into my PACE program. And honestly, we even made it better this year. We added a messaging and copy workshop every month. We never used to have that. You know what I'm saying? So you can keep refining this, but my big promise has always stayed true. I'm going to show entrepreneurs how to build email lists, how to create products that sell, and then how to sell to that email list. I'm going to cash flood them. I'm going to cash free them. I'm going to make sure that part of their life is good. And then whoever they go to work with, whether they stay with me or they go to somebody else, whatever their innovation heart's calling them to do, notice my company is Heartcore Business, right? That whatever it's calling you to do at that point, then I feel that I've done a good job in setting you up to win. Make sense? No more frustrated entrepreneurs. Okay. So now when I look at my big promise, now I have to ask myself, well, you guys want to take a picture of that real quick on your phones? Take a picture, screenshot, or you drew it. I'm going to count to 4 and then I'm going to switch it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay. So now when you look at your big promise, Now, this could be one or two big promises. And this is why sometimes when people build out funnels or they build out sales, they're like, why is it not really kicking? Why is it like what I'm putting in, I'm getting out? Like it's not really prospering. Well, I guarantee you, the way you got to this big promise or your lack of big promise, you're just selling a product now. And when you just sell a product, it doesn't sell. Okay, you can get really good at your tactics and your tweaking and your sales process, but it doesn't blow off the shelf. To get it to blow off the shelf, the big promise is aspirational, right? It's a vision that somebody wants to get to with you. So like take Sara Blakely's Spanx, right? That get rid of cellulite. There, do you see how there's a big promise there that women are going to be empowered in their clothes. They're going to feel fit, strong, beautiful in their clothes. They're not going to have their cellulite hanging out. You get what I'm saying? That's a big promise. That's not about the product. The how is the product. You never sell the product. And that is a big problem if you're selling like coffees, teas, shirts, even coaching programs. People are like, you know, they talk about the product and nobody like, there's every freaking product that's out. I mean, Sara Blakely's got Spanx, Kim's got Skims. Do you know what I mean? Like there is, now you got Lululemon. Well, you got Lorna Jane doing just as good of a job at keeping a woman's body looking good. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just a million people doing what you're doing and everybody like thinks it's about your product or about your intelligence. Stop competing on intelligence. Stop competing on being good. You don't need to be good. I mean, you need to be good. I mean, you need to deliver a good product, but that's not why people actually buy. They're buying because of your empathy model and what you saw, and you position it from that point. So I'm going to go into that in a second. So your big promise is the aspirational. What are they really buying? Right? This is an emotional thing. Now, I don't mean emotional like it's like esoteric. It's like that's the vision. I had a vision for my family. I had a vision for my relationship with my husband. I had a vision for the fitness of my body. I had a vision for living on the ocean, of San Diego. I had a vision, right? It's aspirational, it's emotional. Okay, all you law of attraction people know that. Okay, and people undervalue that. So this is why people buy. Now, how to is next. Now, I know everybody gets stuck on how to, but it's actually not why you buy. You use it as an excuse to hold yourself back from buying, but it's not why you don't buy. You don't buy because you're lacking some sort of vision. Or the person that is selling and trying to lead you to your destination is not doing a good enough job for you on big promise. Do you hear what I'm saying, guys? Yes? So now this is steps. So steps might be, and I personally don't think there should be more than 6 steps in how to create that big promise. Okay. So even if I was creating, I know there's probably not a lot of product people here. But if you are a product person, say I was creating Spanx, I would have my big promise, like, no cellulite. Like for a woman, maybe the big promise is like empowering women in their clothes and in their body. Well, how would I do that? Well, they need to feel like a flat tummy. They need to have no cellulite. It's the steps, right? If you're a coach, consultant, or whatever that is, like to build an email list, okay, well, you need to have experts that will endorse you. You need to know how to reach out to them and negotiate with them. You need to know how to legally protect yourself. You need to know, do you get what I'm saying? So there's steps. There's steps to create that big promise. So these are the steps. So really like 5-6 steps, I think is the most you can have. Once you go over that, and some of you really over deliverers do, and then you don't realize that you probably have 2 products or programs in one. You need to step it out. You need to understand how humans learn or consume. Okay? Learn or consume. So from the steps, you have sub-steps. And all these are how do I deliver that promise? Because these are all micro promises. They're all micro promises. So whether I was creating an actual physical product, and people, do you guys see how many people do not go through these steps? It's not hard, but these steps are really important. They're really important. And if you don't go through these steps like this, it's going to be disjointed. You'll be lacking vision. You'll be lacking clarity on how to present it. And when that happens, and it's happened to me, it's happened to me many times when I've gotten lazy or taken something for granted. Just like take your relationship for granted, take your business relationship, your relationship with your business, your product, services, and offers for granted, that it creates a disconnect. And when you lose a disconnect, you lose authority. When you lose authority, you lose sales. Got it? So literally, I'm not kidding you. That is it with creating a product. That's it. And people overthink it because they get so stuck in this conversation about you're trying to create something for you, and stop doing that. Every single one of you guys know how to serve other people. You know how to serve other people. So now how I go about selling this, just a real quick piece on this. How I go about selling this is before I actually sell, I come back to here because this is my positioning. Are you guys getting this? I'm hoping I'm laying it out really simple for you. I know like some of you guys get confused in it, but just follow the process. Step one, step two, step one, step two, what can I do about it? I can create this offer. Well, if I created this offer, what would be my big promise? That I would promise people that we would deliver that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my big promise, which is emotional, not product, it's emotional. And I'm going to say, what steps do I need to lay out to create that? What steps would somebody have to take to create that big promise in their life? And then what are the sub steps to get each of these promises? And then we're done. Now I go to sell it, I got to talk about the positioning. So now, great example, who jumped into our List Power or our List and Life package in the last week? Who jumped into that? Congratulations, 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 you guys. Wow, a lot of you, congratulations. Look at how many people in the chat, you guys. That's so powerful, so good. Okay, so a great example of this. In fact, Fadi, you could put up the link for this so that you guys have it, because tomorrow, you guys know tomorrow that offer goes away, right? So 74% off on the business package where I'll teach you how to build the email list. And then we have all Barry and Jeff Walker's information, all their products and services. Even Adam's Ignite, Adam threw in his Ignite, how to create products and services and actually price them out. So he's got the pricing. All of those are in both packages, right? Whether you did the business life just meant that you are getting my leadership program at an 89% discount. And by the way, I had a couple of people that reached out to me that were like, Shanda, I've already done your list building program, but I haven't done leadership. Can you discount leadership more? No, it's leadership is $5,000, right? You got that for $2,200. Like if anything, I would come to both again and restudy with me and take all of those like just Jeff Walker's training alone would be worth $1,000 on just the business package. So you can do the business package for $1,000 or business and life for $2,200. And there's a payment plan on both of them if you needed it. Now, great example. If I was going to make that offer, right? If I was going to make that offer, then I'd be looking at what's the problem? What's the solution? So I'm going to, obviously I've done this work to create what I've created. I didn't just create it out of my head. In fact, I had no desire to create leadership. Somebody else owned it before. I had no desire to create that. In fact, it was 2 margaritas in our house in Barbados, which we're about to go to. I was with a bunch of friends who had already done the training, and they basically challenged me to do it. And that's how I ended up creating the training, because I was in this rant. I absolutely did not like how it was being run. I did not like how it was being run. And I had lost 5 clients sending them to a training that I didn't own. And I lost 5 clients inside of 2 weeks, and they put it on me like it was my fault, which was not my fault. But to have 5 clients come to me in a couple of weeks was enough for me to be a little pissed off. Right? And so I'm in this rant and I'm complaining. So I want you to pay attention when you're in the rant, right? About your customer, your client, or if you're just starting a business, where are you in the rant? A lot. That's an indicator. That's an indicator you should be doing something about it. We don't get to be a world that sits there and complains. We get to be a world that says, I see a problem and I got a voice and I can help, right? That's where purpose comes in. Everybody thinks their purpose is about themselves. No, it's not. Do you know how you feel the most fulfilled? Is when other people are lining up in front of you telling you, Elizabeth, Cheryl, Joan, Amanda, Danny, Bob, William, right? When they come to you and they say, you have made such a big difference for me, I can't even describe in words how much of a big difference you've made for me. When you get that over and over and over again, what do you think happens to your human spirit? Go in the chat. What do you think happens to your human spirit? It goes way up. It goes way up. Your purpose is literally about other people. It's not about you. There's trillions of dollars that have been made on books on how to find your purpose. And I'm like, people are missing it. They got to stop studying themselves. They actually have to start paying attention to what do they see out there in the world that they could actually make a really big difference for. So as I was complaining about this in Barbados, I was like literally talking about the other company, right? I was like, all they need to do is just do this. They just need to do this. And I'm like, I'm blah, I'm having my rant session and I'm like, they just need to do this. They just need to do it like this and do it like this and do it like this and do it like this. That's all they need to do. And then they would just absolutely crush it and people would be happy and this would happen. And my friends are all sitting there going, you got to do this, because they're all entrepreneurs and they understand the model, right? And I'm like, I don't want to do this. Now, how many of you guys are backing off one of those for yourself right now? Like, I'm not really ready right now. I don't really want to do this right now. It's not the right time. I don't know enough. I got to go get another PhD. No, you don't. You don't think I'm about it. You know what I mean? You already know. You don't need to know everything. You need to know the piece that you know. Money loves speed because money likes people who lead and lead strong. And when you are in a rant, you are already leading strong and you already see the thing. And so you can say, well, what am I going to do about it? Well, this becomes your story. So you know how when they teach you how to make offers, they teach you how to do a backstory, and right? Like this is the authentic backstory of how you got to the offer, right? How you got to the offer is really what's compelling. And then the bridge is when people come over and it's the aha moment of this success that starts to happen. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Yes? Who's having an aha moment right now? Go in the chat. Who's having an aha moment right now? Yes, 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 yes. I am. Yep, I am. Yep. This is important because you have everything you need right now to be successful financially right now. It breaks my heart when I meet people a year later that didn't jump in and allow me to train and coach them because they're still holding themselves back and fighting the rant they're already having. Now, if you're not having a rant, I guarantee you just have a blind spot. Because you're again coming from the perspective, remember the empathy model, you're trying to create something out of you. And what you need to do is create something for someone else. And my gut is you probably already do that pretty well in your life. You see people or take care of people that you love and you don't have a problem giving. And so you just have to realize that money loves that. Money loves that type of leadership. And so when you look at this is your positioning. So when you go to position, if you want people to buy what it is that you have, your positioning needs to be really good. And guess what constitutes really good? How you got to the story. That's what constitutes really good. Here's what I can tell you. There are literally, when I look at the world, I look at, and you may have heard me say this because I say this all the time, There are two types of people. There are seekers and creators. Seekers are the people who spend tons and tons and tons of time reading the Wayne Dyer books, or, reading the Bible, or studying the information products. And it's like they work, and everybody watches them and goes, oh my gosh, like they're always focused on improving their lives. And I just really respect and admire them. However, the seekers know that they don't ever cross the finish line. It always feels like the rug is being pulled out from underneath their life. It's an emotional roller coaster of highs and lows. It's like they're highly inspired, and then they're not inspired because they look at their bank account or they look at their life and they say, okay, oh my God, I feel like the hair standing on I use this all the time. It's like the hair is standing on my arms. That's an indication to jump and run, not to wait and think somehow it's just going to miraculously show up in your living room, right? That's an indication of you're onto something. Go, take action. And I mean, invest. Not necessarily, you don't have to invest with me, but invest. You got to invest time and money. There ain't no way around it. Time and money, period. Right? And so what happens with seekers is they invest a lot of time in reading, studying, and watching from the sidelines, but they don't really get in the game. And if they cross the bridge to creator, and we all have creators in our life, they look exactly like seekers, but things always come together for them. Because when things break down, like my girlfriend calling me about her Facebook ads and her event in 2 weeks from now, and her Facebook account's been taken down with her paid advertisement, and she's got a big financial commitment on the back end. I'm like, the wisdom you're going to get from this girl. Now, if she was a seeker, I would be a lot more worried for her, but she's a creator, right? So now it's like, there's no freak out. There's like, yeah, that sucks. It's happened to me. But like, if you want, I can connect you with this person, that person. She's like, no, I think we got it. It just helps to know it happened to you too. And I'm like, yeah, the wisdom she's going to get is going to be incredible because she's going to be able to lead her team. I said, just make sure they don't tell you it's just a Facebook thing. Find out if it's something you said in a video, if it's a hook. But do you see what I'm doing right now? I'm solving, right? I'm solving. I'm in the solution. On day one of the challenge, I talked about finding 50 ways, writing down 50 ways. Who did that? 50 ways to find the money. I said, don't stop till you find 50. Elizabeth's like, I did it, right? Don't stop till you hit the 50. Well, the reason why, even the act of doing that for some people is painful. It was for me, right? Like, it was like I got stuck at like whatever it was, 30. But if you can make yourself go all the way, the best stuff is underneath hard. I actually almost wore a hat today that said we do hard things, right? The best stuff is underneath the hard. And so when you look at seekers, and you look at creators, they're doing the same amount of work in life, except for seekers, they struggle forever. Creators, they cross the bridge and they create the results. We look at us inside of HeartCore as we're the bridge between seekers becoming creators. And that's our mission. That's how we talk inside of HeartCore. That's why we make the crazy, insane offers to come work with us at different price points. But if you're new to me, you need to know that we never make the same offer twice. So you've never seen our leadership program with our list building program. When we put entrepreneurs and leadership together, we have an explosion of success. Creators get created, right? 100% of the last 4 classes hit the results. The worst class we had was either 90 or 95. My husband would know the exact number, that only 90 or 95% of the people hit their mark. Think about the last time you were that consistent. Think about the last time you were that consistent. For me, that was a never before leadership. Now when I put the two together, it rocks. But we've never made that offer before at 89% off ever. And tomorrow at 12 noon California time, it will go away. On Monday, my friends, on Monday, my husband's going to come train with me, and we're going to do everything around stretching you to make money within the 24 hours of Monday. So for some of you guys, it might be powerful for you to figure out how to start stretching yourself today. But on Monday, we're teaching from the concept of we're teaching from the concept of you guys taking action on the day. So the cool thing is, say you have a full-time job, you're like, I don't know how to. Well, that's all leadership. So we're gonna talk through that. right? So that you can figure that out. If you're like, I've got kids and I don't know how to get, do you notice all the how to, right? Or I don't know how to find leads. That's why we gave you an offer to teach you how to never have that problem again, right? You can do 997 list power with me, or you can do 2200 list power and leadership, right? We want to get, but the how to is out there. How do you find the money? How do you find the time? How do you do? That's all leadership. We want to knock that out of you because we want you to be resourceful. So if you ever call somebody and say, my house is burning down, you're resourceful enough to find the money and be able to create the result in your life. That's leadership, and you want to set your business up to succeed. So I'm going to take a couple questions and then we're going to end because it's Saturday and I want to go hang out with my little boy and my hubby on the electric bikes. Okay, so let's go. Who wants to ask me a question? Question. Abby, my darling. Oh, we
Hello,
forgot.
can you hear me?
Hold on, Abby. Actually, did you already pull her up? Okay, hold on. I forgot to share this. I can't believe this is only the first time I did this, so this is good. You guys, somebody's winning a Louis Vuitton purse today. I can't believe nobody went in the chat to say who won the Louis Vuitton purse. Did you guys forget? Did you guys forget about the Louis Vuitton purse? Anybody forget? They forgot. No, a couple people didn't forget. Most people forgot. That's so funny. You almost you don't want to forget about this. Linda Hayes, where are you, girl? She's not on? Oh, she's on Zoom. Linda Hayes, you won the Louis Vuitton purse. So you're going to get to choose out of, it's kind of a white gray or the traditional brown color. I don't have the white gray. I have two brown color ones. So you just got the never full Louis Vuitton bag. So congratulations. All right. I hope that was exciting. Yay! Okay. Now I need to go back and find, where was she? Who did I pull up and you disappeared? Where'd you pull? There you are. Okay. Let's unmute you.
There we go. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Okay, there you go. Hi,
yeah,
Abby.
can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly.
Awesome. This is the first time I've actually been able to talk to you on a live, so this is kind of exciting. Hello.
Awesome.
Okay, so,
what can I help you with? What's your question?
Yes. So honestly, I get very, very paralyzed when I think about the legal side of things. So can you help speak into that a little bit for me? Because as a creative, it just is very overwhelming and I don't like thinking about it. I don't know how to do it. And I just want to just kind of put some of those obnoxious thoughts to rest.
Yeah. So do you mean like setting up an entity, like an LLC or an S Corp, that type of stuff?
Somewhat, but just all of the little things surrounding that, because with legal stuff, there's so much that you have to get right in order to not get in trouble with it. And that's just where I lose my crap. So,
okay. So first and foremost, here's what I'm going to do. So, you just triggered something. So I'm going to throw something in today, you guys. Everybody who's already jumped into our List Power program or the List in Life, and don't get mad at me for bringing it up. I know some people get triggered when people make offers, like manage that emotion, okay? Because you got to make offers and you want to stand for people. And I just got inspired when Abby just brought this up. So we do this for our PACE program, but for all of you entrepreneurs who just jumped on, we will actually take care of setting up your LLCs or your S Corps. So I'll make that available until today. So I'll make that a daily bonus today. Everybody who's already jumped in, whether it was the 997 package or the life and business package, on your orientation, you're going to have an orientation call coming up. When is that? Do we know? She's going to find out. Tuesday. Is it on Tuesday? Okay, so on Tuesday, you're going to have an orientation for everybody who jumped in. And so that being said, I'm going to get you guys set up. So I will pay for that for you. Meaning it'll be taken care of. Okay, so you don't have to take care of that. Cool. I saw Darlene.
Thanks so much.
Okay, so the rest of that piece, Abby, you know, I hear you. You know, I don't have a crystal ball on what's ever going to happen. I have been sued. I don't know anybody who's been in business that hasn't. It's, you know, and you know who it always is? it's like a legal secretary of an attorney. You know what I mean? Like that's who it ends up being. And so
I know the teeny tiny inner workings.
yeah, it just like you're not going to be able to avoid, the bigger you get, the more these things come up and you start to set your life up. So, you know, I'd say focus on making the money. You can get a contract attorney that when people do work with you, like all of our clients sign agreements with us. And they're really agreement, but you can't, at least in America, I mean, it's sue happy, right? Like, it's just like, people just, nobody takes responsibility. Like people be like, nobody takes responsibility. They just sue each other for everything. And everybody just like, it's your fault. Okay, like your life didn't have some problems before you met me, right? Like, it's like, you know, it just is the way it is. So, you know, that's also why people incorporate in different states that are more business friendly. So you kind of got those options to go, how much does this keep you up at night? I'm in an unfriendly business city. I like being in California. It's like the one place that you don't want to do business in. And, you know, it's like, so I have built my life with lots of different trusts. Do you know what I mean? Like you can come after me, but you're just not going to get through the penetration at this point. Right. And so I invested the money and the time to be able to do that because of, you know, with love, everybody, psycho people. Right. And so you get it, Abby? So you have to make a decision, like how much does this keep you up at night? You can start with contract attorney. They're easy to find, right? You can Google contract attorney in your city. It doesn't mean they're going to be a great one, but you know, I would prefer to find I would say find a great one, because whoever creates the contract is usually the person who's going to defend it. And that was kind of just something I learned along the way, you know, because every time I've switched attorneys, which has only happened 3 times in all of my business, I've just kept up leveling. Make sense?
I think
Does
so.
that help?
Yeah, I mean, there's
I know
still
I'm not solving your problem, but
yeah.
What?
There's so many other little things that they pop into my mind every once in a while, especially with just getting through tax season. And this was my first year as being self-employed. And so it was the whole process to just figure that out. And again, as a creative individual, I just don't like thinking about that kind of stuff.
Okay,
so it's just a lot.
The team we use, did you take in one of our programs?
Yep, I've been in PACE for a few months and then I just hopped into leadership.
So, okay, so I'm gonna get Abby hooked up with Steve, okay? We're gonna make sure you get set up and they can do the entire back end for you on that. The entire back end. So, and they're great. They're doing tons of our clients right now. So you're not the first person we've heard this from. In PACE, we've heard because so many people didn't set themselves up to make money and they just were focused on making money. And then you've seen it in PACE, right? Like you see people crush it. And so when that happens, people don't actually set themselves up for, you know, taxes and for all that type of stuff. So they do all of that. So get Abby hooked up. All right, babes.
Thank you.
Awesome. Kristen, I would take you up, but you don't have your video on. Is it Jao? Is that right? Folgado?
Yes, it is.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Shanda. How are you?
I'm doing great. How can I answer the question?
And first of all, many thanks for all the value, all the content that you provide to us. It's outrageous.
Thank you.
I just have a little question about all of this that you have been talking, especially in this session. So, what is the best way for a person who is in network marketing for himself to positioning about the product or the business opportunity? And
go back to the empathy model, and we're not going to go through all of that, but go back through that and like go through that. Okay, so like just really get intimate with it. Like I use wall size post-its all the time. Throw it up on the wall and just like walk through your house and get this tempo, right? I wanted to teach you guys on holding the tension, so I'm going to teach you on Monday around holding the tension when we teach sales with my husband. but even when you're getting it into your body, you want to get the tension going, right?
Yes.
Because when you make the offer, you need to hold the tension. Okay. And so so now when it comes to you're not really selling the network. Like, what is the product?
Essential oils in this
Okay,
case.
is it like doTERRA?
Yes, doTERRA.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
it
So
is.
great. By the way, I just started using that product. And
Uh-huh.
so you want like if I was going to sell doTERRA, first of all, I would never sell the oil. I would sell the opportunity to be a rep,
Yeah.
because think about where my mind's at, you guys, right? Like, I'm about financial freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So I would build an email list first and foremost, because that, just so you know, I have a client right now that I'm thinking about who isn't even, like, she's in a network marketing oil company, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not doTERRA, it's the other one, Young Living.
Young Living.
And so she took her email list. We taught her, right? We taught her how to build her email list. The great thing about network marketing is you don't have to worry about having a good product, because you just have one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
course.
You just have to
Yes.
focus on literally the main two things that we teach all the time, which is build the email list. Hopefully you jumped into either product, right? But
Mhm.
literally build the email list, and then you want to do a webinar. And on the webinar, you want to make the offer to become a rep. I would not make the offer to buy the product, in my opinion,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
I would go for reps. So for instance, if you built the email list around making money, right? Or you did it around online marketing, you don't have to know anything about online marketing. Or you made it about, creating retirement income. Or you made it about creating some sort of like freedom in life. And that could be life, business, family. Do you know what I mean? And so we did an interview series, kind of like a podcast, right? And we interviewed people around, I mean, first of all, you could even just use all those 4 different topics and find speakers around all of these things. And
Yes.
they all email their database. You build a list. Now you have a list of people who are interested in the same thing you're interested in. Now, what does that have to do with essential oils? Nothing. But you
Yeah.
go to that list and you let them know that you're using this product as an entrepreneur for these types of things, and they were great. So my client built a list around, it was actually moms building their business around nap time. That's what she
Yes.
did, a summit around that. That was her
Mhm.
summit, was moms building a business around their children's nap time. So they didn't want to give up time with their kids, but they had limited time. And so they had all these hacks around how to build a business at home around their kids,
Okay.
right? And that was her summit. And so she interviewed all these people around that topic. And then she was selling them coaching about how to do this. And then she was like, you know what? Let me share with them, because they're all moms, how I'm using for her oil, which was Young Living, doTERRA, whatever, right? How she's using doTERRA to like keep her kids, healthy, to de-stress her life, like all these things. You guys getting this?
Okay.
She just used the webinar and she shared. See, when people, that's empathetic, isn't it? So she's sharing how she's using products around these things. Like, this is why I love this product. If you're interested and you have some of these challenges, then come learn from me. They came and learned. And then at the end, she shared the fact that there's a way that not only can you buy the product, but you could actually make money with this product. You have the same challenge I have. That's why you're sitting here. Here's how you can take action. And guess what? She did 27 signups in 1 hour. 1 hour.
Yeah.
So that changes the game, right? Now you're kind of like,
Of course.
shit, I'll do that every month. Shit, I'll do that twice a month.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, now who's saying like, oh, you like, it's like, yeah, I'm in a network marketing company and I'm crushing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, and so what's important is to like, don't get too caught up in making the money. Just know where you're leading. Like, you want to lead people to become reps. And I know the company probably tells you to sell the product. I know, guys, I wouldn't sell the product. I would be pushed, even though I know the funnel is probably they buy the product, then they become reps. I get that's probably the funnel. but you could actually find already very, very engaged people who would love to add this in. You get what
Okay.
I'm saying, to what they're already doing.
Yeah.
So you could, and if you wanted to sell the product, then I would just take this summit and I would make it all about natural holistic health. And just so you know, my people who build summits, like interview series around that, I mean, many of them, I mean, the Global Health Summit is one of my clients, and you know, she's good for about 12,000 people. She's good for about 12,000 people on one summit. Now let me show you some real numbers here. 12,000 people, meaning 12,000, no Facebook ads, no paid advertisement, 12,000 people joining your list from her experts mailing. $12 a lead right now. That's $144,000 just from learning the model that I'm going to teach you guys next week. That is a game changer. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. You good?
I see. Perfect. Thank you a lot, Shayna.
Yeah.
Thanks again. More time for all to do.
How do I say your name?
It's João.
Joel. Okay. Now
Yes. It's difficult, I know,
No,
for you
great.
guys, but
It's a beautiful name.
perfect. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
Bye.
you. Charlene.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi. I'm in Germany, so it's like in the evening right now. How are you?
Ooh, quick poll. Where is everybody from? Go in the chat and tell us where you're from. We got our Canadians in the house, our Germans in the house, Greece, Alaska, BC, Canada, San Diego, California, Maryland.
And the
And-
Germans, I would not be mad if they'd reach out to me, like on Facebook.
She's like, come on, Germany, let's get together.
Exactly.
Just so you know, I had an Oma and an Opa. Unfortunately, they're not here anymore, but they used to run around and chase me going, Pass aus und kleine Scheiße. I was like, a little girl. All you
Nice.
Germans, you know exactly what I just said. All right.
Yes. Okay, so I hope I'm not getting emotional. So you talked a little bit about trauma before, and the thing is that I'm a creativity coach and a transmedia artist, and I'm like, by definition, a creator.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. In 2013, I founded a company, a video production company, with a business plan that won me an award. I got a lot of money, but I got it from banks, so I was liable for it, and I completely crashed.
Yeah.
The situation in Germany is that when you are bankrupt, when there's insolvency, you have to carry that around for 6 to 7 years. And I need to breathe 1 second.
Yeah.
And I am in year 6 now. And I can just feel like how broken my spirit is, because I have to justify everything that I do with my money. I'm not allowed to open an account by myself. I have to ask for permission, basically.
Yeah.
And I had to set up a company when I started the creativity coaching business, and I did that and I broke down. I started with migraine, and all of a sudden I was from 0 migraine for 6 months on 15 migraine days in a month, and you can't live with that.
Let me support you here with this, okay?
Okay.
First of all, everybody give her some love in the chat right now in this way. Who has been in a situation where either you've had a DUI, or you've gone bankrupt, or you've had something major like that happen to your life, right? Go in the chat. So Charlene, just look at this. Just seriously look at this. It helps if you even share what it was, you guys. Personally, I had a DUI and I had to live with that on my record for 7 years. And so my spirit wants to give the backstory to justify it, to not have shame. Do you know what I'm saying? And so, this is just, I believe that, first and foremost, when we can speak it like you're speaking it, it just doesn't have the power over us. And when we can stop justifying how it happened, why it happened, or you know what I mean, any of that, then we're truly can be free from it. Because you know, you're a wonderful human being, no matter, like, you're not your results, right? And if all of us were to be really honest, I mean, there's lots in our life that there are moments like that. Okay. And in fact, I just want to say congratulations, because most entrepreneurs I know have lost everything multiple times. So it's like, if anything, it's like, you know what, like, don't have shame on that. You know, unfortunately, you know, I can see why your country does that, because in America, people just walk away from everything and have zero responsibility. They're like, just let it go. You know what I mean? And they've got no responsibility and no ownership on that. And that training, just like having a child, right? And I mean this with respect, but it's true, like that, if you have a child that you don't keep your word to, well, what happens with the respect? It goes away. Do you know what I'm saying? And so they don't respect it. And so we have some other problems in the States because we don't have things like that. And it makes it really challenging for you to go out there and try because of stigmas like that. So I got a stigma, you got a stigma. You know what I learned? I learned how to create cash. I remember going through the drive-through of Starbucks and my stepdad saying to me, let your properties go, you know, when 08 or 09, when the real estate market was really bad. And I was like, I had 3 properties. And he goes, let them go into foreclosure. And I was like, there's another stigma, right? And I remember crying, going through Starbucks. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, you know what I mean? And he's like, listen, you're going to learn how to create cash flow, because you're going to have bad credit for 7 years. If you want a new car, you want an apartment, whatever it is you want, you're going to have to create cash for it. And that's going to be incredibly powerful for you to be able to, like, do what you want to do in life, right? So you're learning it. And he goes, when the real estate market comes back, your credit's going to be back. And so it's all empathy. You got to see the opportunity in it and go from there. If you get caught in the breakdown, then it's really challenging. So because of that leadership of my stepdad, I wiped off my tears and my properties went into foreclosure. I lived in one of them for a year, mortgage free. And they were, you know, putting the signs up on my door. There's probably some people watching right now going through that right now. And if they're not yet, they're probably going to be, because of what's the landslide that's coming right now. You get what I'm saying? And so, you know, hopefully this unhooks some people from it. I truly lived in a property for a year without paying my mortgage, right? And I built this company, right? I built this company. I was like, when's the next time I'm not going to have overhead? I'm just going to go all in. And I invested in coaches, and I went all in and hired a virtual assistant, you know, to do all the tech online. And I worked to pay them every month. Like, I worked and then paid the bill, worked and then paid the bill, right? And it was really incredible. And now look at where we are here today. So I share that with you, with hopefully, and other people watching, hopefully that can support. I learned how to create cash flow. I developed HertGrow business, and I would not regret that at all. I mean, when I had a perception shift, I know I'm kind of long-winded at this, but like, when I had a perception shift on this, like, it was like the minute I just was done with it, it had no more energy on me. Like, it was like, whatever, it just is what it is. So
I think that is exactly my question, why I raised my hand, because this challenge has, like, I'm spitting out ideas the whole time. And today I actually sat down and because I have a session with one of your coaches later on, and she is absolutely amazing. A shout out to Anna. She's really beautiful and great.
I just
and so I wanted to present her like the full concept. And then I realized like how everything inside of me just went, you cannot do this.
Oh yeah. Well, it's good to do with Anna, because Anna is really good. She's really good and she's really strong. So you're in good hands with her. So just tell her that.
Okay.
Just like literally tell her that. Just say, Anna, before we get started, I just want to tell you this, so she knows what she's working with, and go from there.
Okay.
Cool. So
Yeah.
I recommend if anybody, are you in the Facebook group, Shirley?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, make yourself known in the Facebook group, say hi, get to know some people, call out for the people in Germany so they can find you easily in the Facebook group, and do what you can to move in that direction, and
Okay.
build an email list. And if you can jump into the business and life package, with leadership, then do that. Now it's going to be some weird hours for you because it's like all day, right?
Yeah.
But we've had tons of people. The cool thing about it virtual is that we have people in all places of the world. Normally you'd have to get on a flight, multiple flights to get here, and you would adjust your time zone to our time zone here in California. You're just gonna have to treat it like in Germany, like I just got on a plane, landed in California, I'm gonna adjust my time zone so that you can do it on those hours, and I highly recommend you do that. Okay?
Okay. Thank you very much. And thanks for the people in the chat.
Yes, I love your heart. So good. Okay, you guys, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna end the Facebook Live and YouTube if we're on YouTube right now. I'll stay on with you guys a little bit longer on the Zoom. We joined general and VIP in the Zoom, so you guys who are general can see a little bit about it's kind of nice to be on VIP where we can see each other right now. Not the same link on Monday for VIP. VIP, you'll go back to your regular link for Monday, but I wanted to remind you. So there's no training tomorrow, right? It's Sunday. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to look at, if you haven't done your list of 50 ways to find the money, do that. If you have, we asked you to circle 3 of them that you were going to commit to. What are the 3 biggest priorities on the list of 50? 50 ways to find the money. And then that should be up on your wall. Ask yourself today and tomorrow, spend like 30 minutes. This is 30 minutes on you. Spend 30 minutes today, spend 30 minutes tomorrow, and work towards one of them. Like risk, whatever it takes. Maybe it's sending an email, maybe it's making a phone call, whatever it is, right? Like move it forward. Think of it like creating the courses. Like you've got now 3 categories, you've got 3 ideas. What are some ways on the how to do that? Do you hear what I'm saying? Like take it intimate. Intimacy is where things are solved. So take it intimate and then go after it. So dedicate 30 minutes today, 30 minutes tomorrow. That's an hour in 2 days of working towards it. And it'd be so incredible to see you inside the Facebook group sharing some breakthroughs. I mean, what do you think your effort is going to do for somebody who's still sitting on the sidelines of their life watching? You know what I'm saying? You could be the person that gets somebody off the couch. You could be the person that gets somebody operating. That's what we call a legacy leader, right? So legacy leaders are evangelist style people. Become one if you're not one. And it's not about bragging and boasting. It's about encouraging other people. Like if you can do it, they can do it. And honestly, your story, your words, whatever, can be the very thing that gets somebody up and going. Don't underestimate that. So you guys on Facebook, YouTube, we will see you on Monday. And I'll say goodbye to you now. And you guys on Zoom, I'm going to stay on with you just for another 2-3 questions, then we'll end the day. All right.